Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to Life's Deceit. I'm your host, Jen Simpson. I hope you guys can have an amazing morning, afternoon, night, wherever you are in the world. Today, we are solo. We are together. We are vibing together, just you and I. And we are going to unpack some powerful takeaways from our previous episode last week with Bill Simpson.
So at the time, I didn't really understand the impact that it would have later on in life. And I discovered that when I started dating, I had a pattern of overlapping my relationships. I'd have a girlfriend, I'd meet another girlfriend, drop back to the old girlfriend and go to a new one. And always had to be in a relationship. And that happened all the way through my first marriage. I've been married, this is my fourth marriage. But my first marriage, I was on the radio, here in the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. And there was a lot of that sisterly affection, which was hard for me to avoid, and a couple times I did succumb to that. And I wasn't proud of it, yet it's what's real. And part of that was in that time period, I met this woman who I ended up divorced my first wife. I ended up marrying this woman that I was seeing while I was with my first wife. So there I go, overlapping. And it wasn't until that relationship that I was struggling with some high pressure stuff at work with the morning show I was doing, even though it was a lot of fun, there was a lot of pressure. And then just, kind of feeling out of sorts when it comes to my visit to a therapist. So I thought I'd give it a shot. And what I discovered was the reason for this overlapping was I had an abandonment issue. I had a fear of abandonment. So what I would do, I would end these relationships before they would abandon me. And so that's why, no one really broke up with me. I was the one to do it because I wasn't going to let you do it because I wasn't going to get abandoned. And so that was a big awareness for me, and it was understood how what happened in my childhood impacted my relationship.
If you haven't had an opportunity to listen to the episode yet, you can take a moment, pause right here, go listen to it, and come back. If you don't want to go to that episode yet, you can wait till after this one, and then go ahead and listen. You are going to enjoy that episode. It was a life changer for me, and I know it will be for you. Before we dive in, I want to take a moment to give a huge shout out to Simone Source. She is the winner of the 3-book giveaway. Congratulations, Simone. Honor and a pleasure to be able to give these books to you. Your support and commitment to your own growth is exactly what this podcast is all about. I hope the books inspire, challenges, and comfort you and continue to help you on your healing journey and educating your children about safe and unsafe touch. During my conversation with Bill, we explored vulnerability, accountability, and the importance of breaking generational cycles. One of the things that Bill said that really resonated with me, and I want you to hear it. I want you to let it ring through your ears and unpack it with me. I have this question that it's been floating around, and it's hard for men to show that vulnerable side of them, because once they do, there's a saying that says women don't want soft men. They don't want men that pour out their emotions to them, and once they do, they start cheating on them. There's this huge myth that's going around, right? So how do you break down those walls? Like, even as a man, like I see a lot of women, they say, well, he left me for so and so, and how can you leave me for that girl? And I'm thinking about it in my head, like, have a conversation with him at some point when you stop being angry, and he'll explain to you, because sometimes it's not always about sex. It's about that emotional part, being there, emotionally available, allowing him to express himself and not feel like he has to be this strong wall that you can just punch and say whatever and he can get over it. Because a lot of times these women that do this, they're going through trauma themselves. They've
Exactly.
seen this for so long that they just continue doing it to men and think that they're just supposed to take it.
Yeah, and
So how do you break down those walls?
well, it's. I mean, it can be a challenge. Depends on the dynamic of the relationship. But nobody wants to be in a relationship with somebody all the time. It's like, and especially
No.
a guy. Like nobody wants to see that, and yet that's the impression that women who don't want to have a soft man think that vulnerability is, and it can be in the
Mhm.
strongest, most the biggest, masculine looking guy you've ever seen, and still have his feelings. I mean, you see like football players, man, they're balling on the football field, and it's okay to do it there, but they can't do it at home. But it's just, it doesn't mean being an emotional mess. It just means being real with your emotions and what you're feeling.
Right.
And oftentimes, and this is where guys need to get some grace, is that we're not taught this, we're not conditioned this way to really be in touch with the feelings, and even women too, but especially guys. So like they need their feelings chart, to look up and say, what am I feeling? They're feeling something, but they may not even know what they're feeling. And as long as they're trying to do better and to really work with you, you got to give them some grace, because we've been conditioned for a long, 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 long time to be a certain way. And it doesn't mean
Mhm.
that's just what men are. It's just how we've been conditioned. And give him some grace to let him grow and to let him mature and understand. So he's not going to get it right every time. And especially if he's getting help, they think, oh, well, he's been to therapy, he should be able to do this, drop of a hat. It takes time. It's a process. Change is a process. And you mentioned earlier you know, about people do change and they can change, yet change can be really, really hard. It's because you're fighting all this subconscious behavior inside that you don't even know what's going on. But once you have the awareness, change
Right.
becomes a lot easier.
And he said, being authentic and being accountable for saying yes. I was unfaithful in my first marriage. And then in return, she shared and made herself accountable for what had happened. And now you know. That's just amazing when we can do that together and for each other. Accountability, I know it played a humongous role in your healing
Absolutely.
journey. What did that look like for you? And what would you say to people on their healing journey that are well aware of the things that they've done and how accountability would play a big role in them
Well,
healing?
I think it started with the conversation I was having with my now wife, where I just put it all out on the table, and I'm like, if she balks at it and doesn't want it, then that's out of my control. But I'm not going to pretend I'm something that I'm not. And so being authentic and being accountable to saying, yes, I was unfaithful in my first marriage, all the way up until my first marriage. She knew that. All the things that I'd been through, she was aware of it. And I took accountability for my part. And in return, she shared, like I said, we had parallel lives. She shared the same things that happened to her, and made herself accountable for what had happened. And that's just amazing when we can do that. But most of us are so terrified of being exposed as to feel all this shame around some of their authenticity, and things that they've done in the past. It's the past, it's done, it's over. There's nothing you can do to change it. All we can do is grow from it and move forward. And when you're willing to do that, you can't ask for much more than that, right?
There's so much power in that message. There's so much power in that truth because so often we're afraid to own our stories, to be honest about our mistakes, or to show our authentic selves. But growth doesn't happen in hiding, it happens in the light, in honesty, and in accountability, in being bare, in coming out and saying, yes, I did this, but I own it. I'm human. Bill also shared something I can't stop thinking about, and that is yield, don't force, respond, don't react. Think about that for a second. How often do we react instantly out of anger, hurt, or frustration, only to create more pain for ourselves and others. Bill's insight reminded us that pausing, being mindful, and responding from a place of awareness is transformative. Think about that for a moment. And for the woman listening, he gave us such a vital reminder to create safe spaces for our men in our life, in your life. Let them share their hearts without judgment. Because sometimes the way we've been conditioned to toughen up or keep it in has created walls. Walls that keep intimacy and understanding at bay. And we need to learn to let there be space to grow. Tell us now, how can women, us women, me, all the women that are listening, how can we help men on their emotional and spiritual journey?
Just support them where they are. Let them know that you love them, and share some things with them. You don't have to teach and preach, because nobody wants to be taught and preached unless they ask you. But maybe drop some suggestions, or maybe send a link to Men on the Path to Love podcast, or or some sort of literature, or something that points in the direction. Maybe it's a reel that you see on Instagram that is a quote or something. Just send it to him and start the conversation and see where he goes with it. And again, have grace, because we've had years and years and years, decades, millennial of conditioning that is confusing a lot of men these days. They don't know how to be because of all these mixed messages.
Another gem Bill emphasized is that men need grace.
Give them some grace, be supportive, and as long as they're trying, you got to give them some credit. You got to acknowledge them, give them the recognition that they deserve.
Healing takes time, patience, and guidance. Whether it's through therapy, journaling, meditation, or mentorship, the tools are out there. And we have to be willing to use them. We have to be willing to accept them. We have to be willing to use them and not be afraid of what people are going to say. Now, I want you to turn the energy to you. Turn the energy onto yourself. Let's play a little game inspired by the rapid fire segment, which you guys are all familiar with, I did with Bill. Here's how it works. I'm going to give you a word or a phrase, and I want you to think about it. Does this break generational cycles or build them? Write it down, think about it. Think about it quick, but write it down. Say it back to yourself if you need to. Are you ready? Get ready. Let's go. Emotional silence. Therapy. Tough love. Saying I love you to your son. Toxic loyalty. Vulnerability. Fatherhood without presence. Sitting in discomfort. Avoiding conflict. Doing the inner work. Take a moment and reflect on those words, those phrases. Which one of those are showing up in your life right now? Which one of those are you intentionally practicing to break the cycles that no longer serve you? Ask yourself that question. And here are 3 key takeaways from Bill's episode that you can implement today. Get your pen back and get your paper and write it down. Number 1, be accountable and honest with your story. Don't hide from your past or your mistakes. Light and truth create freedom. 2, practice mindful responses, not reactive behaviors. Step back, pause, and ask, how do I want to respond to this situation in alignment with my values? Number 3, create safe spaces or emotional expressions, whether it's your partner, your child, or yourself. Vulnerability isn't weakness. It's a bridge to connection. And I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you before our next episode. Pick one thing you've been reacting to automatically and pause before you respond. Notice the difference. Journaling helps here. Write down the urge, the thought, the feeling, and then write how you choose to respond. It's simple, yet an altering practice. Try it. I just want to say thank you to Bill Simpson for bringing his wisdom to this platform. And to all of you for showing up, listening, and doing the inner work. Healing and growth are not linear, but with honesty, accountability, and intention, transformation is inevitable. So I want to thank you personally, each and every one of you, for continuing to do the work daily, because it's not easy. And once again, congratulations to Simone Swartz. I can't wait to hear how the book inspires your journey, how your kids felt about reading the book, what shifted in them. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who could use this little insight, clarity, or inspiration in their own lives. And don't forget, break the cycles, embrace vulnerability, and respond with intention. Guys, I know that this week is back to school. And I want to say to all the children that returned to school yesterday or today, I pray that you guys have a fruitful year. I pray that you guys are covered. I pray that you guys have an amazing week. I pray that your studies will go well. I pray that there will be alignment with your teachers. I pray that if there is misunderstanding, you guys will know how to stand in the gaps and seek guidance from your teachers and your peers and your parents, most importantly. Parents, I pray over the 2025 and 2026 school year. I pray that you parents will be there for your children and be able to give them the knowledge and the support that they need throughout the school year. I pray that our children are safe. I pray that as they leave our homes and enter the schools, they will be safe and they will be covered, and that there will be a protective cloak surrounding each and every one of them. I pray that you guys will have resources and people and supportive loved ones in your life that you'll be able to go to for guidance, understanding, support, and that will stand in the gaps with you. As these children go back to school, I pray that no harm will come to them and that they will do well, they will succeed, they will do great in their schoolings, and that they will have an amazing year that they will never forget, and they will be creating new memories and friendships with other children and teachers and principals. I thank you guys for tuning in to this podcast with me. I thank you for tuning into Life's Deceit. I thank you for continuing to help me build this platform. And before you go, please don't forget to hit the like button. Please don't forget to subscribe and share the video with somebody that may need to listen to this message today. It's very important that we're there for each other, and how we are there for each other without it having to be something tangible, material, is passing on the information, sharing things that you think would benefit another person, or, a word of advice. And I want to thank you guys for continuing to pour back into yourselves. Stay authentic and keep showing up for you. Be bold. Be the voice that you never had. Be that voice that you need, even in those moments where you feel like things aren't working out and you don't know where to turn. Be that voice. Thank you for tuning in with me, your host, Jen Simpson. And next week, we have a very special episode. So please turn on those notification bells. Until next time, I'm Jen Simpson.